never change, this is Jay every day. I never change, this is Jay every day. I never change, this is Jay. I am a rock representer.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the ZayMoolaSportsPodcast. I'm your host, Isaiah, and we received some major news on yesterday. Is after 75 years, the NFL announced they have eliminated the Pro Bowl game. And although I'm disappointed that the game has been eliminated, the NFL made the right decision because the decline of the Pro Bowl began in 2012. Is after that game, the Associated Press stated that the players were hitting each other as if they were having a pillow fight, and the fans ended up booing the players because of how uncompetitive the game was. And in 2013, it was more of the same. And after that game, Roger Goodell threatened to eliminate the Pro Bowl. But in 2014, the NFL introduced a new format where they moved off of the traditional AFC versus NFC matchup and instead had a fantasy draft and had two Hall of Famers as honorary captains. And in that game, it was Deion Sanders and Jerry Rice, and it ended up being a tremendous success as the game was very competitive as Team Rice won 22-21. And in 2015, they continued with that format as it was Chris Carter versus Michael Irvin. That game was also ultra competitive as Team Carter won 32-28. And then in 2016, they would also have that same format as it was Michael Irvin versus Jerry Rice. And although the final score was not close as Team Irvin won 49-27, it did appear as if the NFL Pro Bowl was back. But then in 2017, the NFL would change the format and location of the Pro Bowls. They reverted back to the traditional AFC versus NFC matchup, and they also played the game in Orlando instead of Hawaii. But despite these changes, the 2017 Pro Bowl was a tremendous success as it was very competitive as the AFC won 20-13. And from 2018 to 2020, the games would be very competitive and entertaining. And again, y'all, it really seemed as if that the Pro Bowl was back for good after 2012 and 2013 being two horrendous years for the Pro Bowl. But from 2014 to 2020, the games were very competitive. They were very entertaining. Everyone was excited about the Pro Bowl again. But then in 2022, the game was absolutely horrendous, just like it was in 2012 and 2013. And at this point, Roger Goodell was frustrated, so he put his foot down and he eliminated the traditional Pro Bowl game that we loved and instead introduced a flag football game. But unfortunately, this was not successful as those games were very uncompetitive and not entertaining. I mean, who wants to see NFL players just out there grabbing each other's flags? I mean, that's not fun at all. We can, see that if we go down the street. Like, we want to see NFL players, y'all, compete at the highest of level. And I get it's a Pro Bowl game, so you don't want to get injured. You don't want to injure anyone else. But still, you should play with some level of competitive nature. But unfortunately, because they did not show that in 2022, that's why from 2023 until 2026, this year, we had the flag football style game. But again, y'all, this was not successful at all. The games just were not entertaining to watch. And now we're at the point that we are now where the NFL, after 75 years, has eliminated the Pro Bowl game. And as I stated to begin this video, y'all, I'm disappointed by this decision because I grew up in the era where the Pro Bowl game was very entertaining. Like, players actually took it seriously. They were competing. They wanted to win. Yes, sometimes, they would have hard hits like Sean Taylor did in the 2007 Pro Bowl game. But that's what made it entertaining, y'all. And I've said this about the NBA. When you have, elite players going against one another, we want to see them compete at a very high level because it's just fun to see elite players really go back and forth against one another. But unfortunately, we were no longer seeing that with the NFL, so they had to come to this decision to just eliminate the game altogether, y'all. I think the players should be very disappointed in themselves because the players that played in the 80s 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, this was never an issue. They always competed. They always wanted to win. They took the Pro Bowl game with pride. But these players in this era, y'all, have not been able to do that, and that is why we are where we are. And this should have never been a discussion about the Pro Bowl game being eliminated in the first place, because it's supposed to be a prestigious game honoring the best players in the NFL. But unfortunately, y'all, now we're not going to have a Pro Bowl game anymore, so the players should be disappointed. And also, y'all, I feel like the reason that the Pro Bowl was in decline was due to the fact that the NFL had replacement players. And let's be honest, y'all, there were several players the last, I would say, 10, 11 years that were, voted as Pro Bowlers, or voted as alternates, I should say, that should have never been playing in the Pro Bowl game because they did not have a Pro Bowl caliber season. And there was a lot of fans were complaining about. We had guys, y'all, that, you look at Tyler Huntley a couple of years ago. He only played 2 games, and yet he was a Pro Bowler. You look at Gardner Minshew, or then, this past season with Joe Flacco, we had guys that weren't even deserving of being Pro Bowlers, but because, the starters had decided they were not going to participate in the game, obviously someone had to fill their role. So you had these alternate players being voted as Pro Bowlers, even though they had no business participating in the game, y'all. So I think those two reasons, one, the lack of competition, and also having the replacement players, the alternate players, those two reasons are why that the Pro Bowl has been abolished, y'all. And again, it's very disappointing, especially somebody like me. And I know there are people that are even older than me that can think about how the games were in the 80s and 90s. But just even in my area, y'all, in the 2000s, those games were very competitive. Those guys played with a lot of pride and with a lot of heart. But unfortunately, y'all, these players in this era have not been able to do so. And that's why the Pro Bowl game has been eliminated. But again, although I'm disappointed that we will no longer be able to watch the Pro Bowl game, the NFL made the correct decision because the players just were not taken seriously enough. And also, I love the fact that they also eliminated the alternative players. So now we're really going to have the best players in the league. The elites of the elites are going to be selected to the Pro Bowl, and they're still going to be able to celebrate that, y'all, because that's still a huge honor. I mean, being voted as a Pro Bowler, being voted as one of the best players in the NFL is still a huge honor. So still going to be great for those guys to be voted as a Pro Bowler. But there have been, this was me reacting to the NFL eliminating the Pro Bowl game and why I agree with the decision. Remember, y'all, labs good medicine. So what? Make sure you get your daily dose. You know, I'm an enemy, and I love y'all. God bless. Peace.